I have produced over 400 YouTube videos, if counting all the channels on YouTube, mainly explaining technical and economic aspects of Australian property investment. Today we'll discuss something different, the driving force behind investment decisions, emotions. Property investment has three harmful emotions or psychological barriers: fear of missing out, fear of a better option, and a fear of finding out. Most property investors have experienced these emotions, leading to regrettable investment decisions. Some investors lost money and fell into psychological traps, making the same mistakes repeatedly, watching their wealth diminish without a way to reverse course. They painfully decide to change only when the burden becomes unbearable, but by then, they are far from their financial goals. If you want to avoid making wrong decisions due to emotional and psychological issues when buying a property, please make sure you watch this video to the end. Hey there, my name is Alex. Welcome to my channel, where I share information about real estate investment, economic trends, and wealth creation. If you like this video, smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the most well-known emotion, fear of missing out, FOMO. Have you ever worried about missing out on something meaningful if you didn't attend a party or event? With the fear of missing out on a stock's 30-year surge if you didn't buy it. If I don't buy this house now, it might be sold or its price might rise tomorrow. They're some of the most common examples of the fear of missing out. The term fear of missing out was first discussed by Patrick J. McGinnis in 2004 in the Harvard Business School magazine. Initially, it focused on studying the impact of FOMO and another emotion, fear of a better option, FOBO, on people's social behavior. Later, it was adopted in the marketing field, becoming a powerful tool for marketing and sales. Almost any product or service can exploit the common fear of missing out psychology. For instance, iPhones are 20% off today only, ending tomorrow. Or when you visit a display house, the salesperson might say, "You're just in time, sir. Our VIP promotion ends at 5 p.m. today. Buy now for a 5% discount and get a full set of home appliances for free. But from tomorrow, it's back to the full price with no gifts." If you like the house, don't you feel a bit fortunate? Lucky I made it in time. In a rising housing market, most people may experience the fear of missing out. If I don't buy it today, it will be gone tomorrow. If I don't buy it today, the price will go up tomorrow. How to use FOMO to sell is the first lesson in any real estate sales training. The biggest problem FOMO causes for property investors is that they rush decisions, become disoriented, and make hasty choices, often buying properties that only partially meet their requirements. There are two scenarios. First, the salesman tells the truth, and the promotion ends tomorrow, or prices rise. If you buy, you get the benefits you deserve. But is it worth considering the compromises you've made, like location or house type? Second, the salesperson lies, but often you can't verify this. They might find a way to hide the information or end the promotion tomorrow only to start another next week. Besides, many people don't like to investigate after purchasing because if they find out they were lied to but can't change the fact they've already bought the house, it can be very upsetting. So they prefer not to ask. Now, how do you overcome the fear of missing out? This mentality is, I must buy it right now. If not, I'm doomed. My life is over and I'll let myself and my family down. But it's not that serious. We shouldn't blindly accept or oppose this fear. Instead, we should consider our own circumstances. Ask yourself some questions. Is my cash and finance ready? What's my investment goal? Does buying this house help me reach my wealth goal? Is this house suitable for my current investment needs? If the answer is yes, then buy it. If not, then don't. This breaks your connection with the fear of missing out and frees you from its influence. Have you ever experienced this when buying a house? You've already seen many properties and spent a long time researching the market, but you just can't decide. You always think, although this house is good, what if a better one comes to the market next week? People with this mindset usually tend to be perfectionists with a strong desire for control, always searching for the perfect option, which they believe will appear only in the future. This fear of better option can be very harmful in a rising market. Suppose your budget is 2.5 million and you could initially buy in suburb A. After 3 months of looking for suitable houses at reasonable prices, you decide to wait for something better while the market prices keep rising. Suddenly, you realize that what used to cost 2.5 million in suburb A now costs 2.7 million. Reluctantly, you put your focus on a neighboring suburb B as the houses there are slightly cheaper. Disappointed, but still needing to buy. You find a few good houses there, but then the fear of a better option emotion strikes again. making you indecisive, thinking that you've already compromised by moving to suburb B. You must find the perfect one and wait further. Eventually, you buy a house not because you have found that perfect house, but because you are tired of searching, frustrated, and ready to settle. You end up neither finding the perfect house nor buying in the early stage of a rising market. The problem with fear of a better option is that it slows down your decision-making process, letting opportunities slip away. If you later realize you've missed too many opportunities, you might give up on buying or investing altogether. From an outsider's perspective, those affected by FOBO are seen as procrastinators and indecisive, often missing their chance, and might have been better off buying the first property they saw. To deal with fear of a better option and avoid its negative impact on our investment decisions and performance, it's crucial to overcome 1. Perfectionism, 2. The need for control, and 3. The fear of failure. There are a few things you can do to overcome this psychological barrier. 1. Be prepared to pay more than the market price for property you like in a rising market. 2. Accept the reality that no property is perfect. Every house has its flaws. A convenient, cheap area will have older houses. New and cheap houses are in distant areas. Convenient areas with new houses are expensive. Step back from your emotions. List your top 10 criteria for buying a house. Keep the first 5 and discard the bottom 5. The new list makes it easier to find a property. 3. Reassess your purpose for buying a house. Are you buying a place to live, making a small investment gain, or is it part of a comprehensive investment plan? If it's the latter, stick to your plan, and emotional factors will naturally fade away. Number 4. Set a time limit for your house hunting mission. Say 90 days. Even if your fear of a better option comes into play, you need to make a decision before the deadline, allowing rationality to win over emotion. In a declining market, fear of a better option also exists. The house is 10% off now, but what if it's 20% off next month? A lot of people believe they can predict the market trends and think that prices will drop further next month. But how can you be sure? What if prices rebound? What if you can't find a property with a similar investment value soon? Those who understand long-term trends never worry about timing their decisions precisely. Instead, they focus on the overall trend and what suits them best. Now, you've completed an initial version of a work project or product, knowing you need to show it to your supervisor for feedback and improvements to create a better final product. But you're afraid of being criticized by him, so you choose not to show the preview version or seek advice. Or perhaps you've just quit your job to start your own business and are unfamiliar with how taxation works. You know it's an issue that needs to be addressed, but fear of uncovering something unwelcome leads you to postpone dealing with it indefinitely. Or maybe you and your partner haven't talked in a long time, and it feels like you're both avoiding something. You know you need to communicate to identify and resolve the issue, but you choose silence because you're unsure where the conversation might lead. What if it ends in a breakup? These scenarios describe a psychological phenomenon known as fear of finding out, FOFO. Simply put, FOFO is a mental barrier where one avoids doing something essential due to the fear of uncovering significant, potentially problematic information. Now that we have a basic understanding of FOFO, what does it look like in property investment? Consider this: you've been searching for properties for months and finally find one that meets all your criteria. Location, type, orientation, and price, all good. You think, I must get this one, but your goal is property investment. You like the house, but is it really a good investment? You know you should calculate cash flow, holding costs, appreciation potential, and even development opportunities, but you're tired and scared of what you might find out. So you think, well, the location, type, and orientation are all great, so the investment can't be bad, right? And so you buy it. You end up with a property that doesn't have much potential for appreciation and has poor cash flow. Because of the same FOFO mentality, you don't calculate the investment returns and cash flow for years after acquiring the property. When it's time to sell, your accountant tells you there's been no price appreciation and the cash flow is still negative. It turns out to be a losing investment, leading to regret. When people first join my property investment membership, we go through a 90-minute strategy meeting, a crucial part of which is clarifying their current asset situation. We found that many new members already own several investment properties when joining. One member had 8 apartments bought over 7 years in different cities, following a well-known Chinese real estate agency's advice, believing in the price will double in 7 years theory. I asked him, did you calculate the returns after buying the second property to see if you were making money compared to other types of properties? He hadn't. What about after buying the third property? He hadn't, although he heard that similar properties were starting to lose money. And after the fourth? He knew it was likely unprofitable but didn't want to do the calculation or discuss with friends who bought different types of properties. He was afraid to find out the truth, similar to someone suspecting a health issue but avoiding talking about it or going to the doctor. FOFO in property investment can have immense harmful and destructive energy. It can lead to blind investment and indefinite postponement of addressing issues until losses become unbearable and one is forced to confront them, often too late. So how do we dominate FOFO? You should ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I don't face this issue now? What impact could it have on my finances, relationships, or work? Is it worth the risk and delay to avoid addressing it now? Is the potential loss from this risk greater than the temporary peace I get from avoiding it? For instance, in business, if someone complains, I have to decide whether to address it immediately, ignore it, or delay. If I don't address it, will this person badmouth my company on various forums and websites, causing negative impact? Conversely, by resolving the complaint promptly and perfectly, could I minimize the damage and seize a good opportunity for self-promotion? After weighing the pros and cons, it's obvious that facing and addressing the issue immediately is the smarter choice. It's the same with property investment. After identifying potential problems, do you choose to delay or investigate and resolve them immediately? If you can figure out the worst outcome if you ignore the problem, you're almost guaranteed to choose to face the problem immediately and directly every time. This way, you'll no longer be hindered by the fear of finding out. If you made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos, and have a good one. Bye.